As a kid, especially a young teen, I was in gangs at a young age. I got caught with a loaded weapon in school. The judge was looking at, they were talking about 10 years as a juvenile. So I was 14 at the time. That was like one of the most craziest moments I think I've ever had in my life. Hugging a North Korean in North Korea in front of North Koreans.
Before we begin this episode, the Mind Depot podcast would like to ask that you take a second to click the subscribe and like button. It greatly helps us to grow our channel and find more guests that you would like. We appreciate and thank you for watching.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mind Depot podcast. Today's guest is Wally Green. Wally, would you like to tell the people what you do?
I'm a professional athlete. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a speaker, content creator, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
I had an accident. I think you know about the accident, right?
Yeah, the leg, right?
Yeah, so um I took a gym membership today because
Okay.
I think I need to put in more work to get this better quicker. Because I go to PT like twice a week,
Okay.
but I think I need to do this. I know now what I need to do and
Yeah.
I understand like with the knee, it's about the pressure and the force that you can put on it,
Okay.
right? And so if you if your weight is a certain amount of weight, how much pressure does your knee take when you run and you stop quickly? So you can use certain weights to emulate that,
Oh, okay.
especially like the leg weights. And I think doing it twice a week is not enough. I need to do it every day,
Yeah.
like twice a day, every day. So I took a gym membership last night, and then I just started today. So I'm gonna go twice a day to
Nice.
work specifically on that.
So you're
Like,
just doing some of the strength training that they're teaching you at
yeah,
PT,
yeah, I'm
right?
doing it now on my own, like twice a day,
Yeah.
because I need to get better faster. This is just taking way too long.
I understand, man. Just don't overdo it. You still gotta let the body heal itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Facts, facts.
When you think back to your childhood, what's the earliest memory that instantly brings a smile to your face?
Oh, damn. Smile? There
Yes.
were no smiles
You
during my
instantly
childhood.
you think back, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that time.
Nah. As a child, I there were no smiles
Oh
as a
no?
child. No. As a child, no.
Yeah.
No. Zero.
No
I, I,
birthday.
I, I no. Listen, there's no pictures of me as a kid for a reason.
Oh
Like they
really?
don't exist. No, there's not one. There's not one picture of me as a kid.
Oh wow. My
Yeah.
last guest, he grew up in foster homes his entire childhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he had a difficult childhood. So I understand.
Yeah. Same, same, same,
Oh,
same.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, damn. That's a good question. I'm trying to even think.
He said his happy memories were when his sister came to visit him.
No, so
Yeah.
for me, we didn't have that. I had a very abusive, narcissistic stepfather. So
Oh,
no
okay.
family never came to my house ever.
Oh wow, okay.
No, 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 forever. No, no, no uncles, no, nobody. Nobody has ever come inside uh my house when I was a kid. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe, maybe I'm gonna say when I found sports, probably.
Okay. At what age was that?
Um, I started sports young. So I want to say like maybe 8 or 9, something like this, maybe. Um, but
As a kid, what did you picture yourself doing when you grew up? And how
yeah,
close did life bring you to that dream?
as a kid, especially a young teen, I was in gangs at a young age. When I was older, sports made me less violent. So
Oh, okay.
I guess I don't know if that was like a happy moment, but it was a moment where, I felt like, or maybe I don't need to be violent today because I'm tired. I don't know. Like, yeah, I did. There's no really happy moments as a kid.
Okay.
I didn't think about anything. I just knew that maybe this is not where I should be, or these are not the things that I should be doing. But
Okay.
there was never like, oh, I want to do this when I get older. No, I was, you know, busy watching my back. I never thought about future or things that could happen. Or I never thought about that. I was thinking about every day, am I going to get through today? Am I going to get through tomorrow? I never really thought about like future when I was a kid.
Okay. So what you do now is speeches, you
Yeah.
do ping
Well,
pong
yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did you find that passion? Because that's
Uh,
like the total opposite of
yeah,
the
totally.
street life.
Yeah, so that came when I was about 16, 17. I had a big incident at home. At 14, I got sent away to Africa, actually, to boarding school. It was a crazy thing. I got caught with a loaded weapon in school. The judge was looking at they were talking about 10 years as a juvenile. So I was 14 at the time. And
Wow.
but I always had good grades because I always had kids helping me with my work to stay on teams in school. Because the only way you can
Oh,
stay on sport teams is if you have passing grades.
okay.
So as protection, kids would help me do my work. So I always had passing grades.
Okay.
So it looked like on paper I was a good kid. And they kind of used that in court, saying that, if they put me away for such a long time, then, that would destroy, it would destroy me.
Yeah.
And technically I am a good kid. I have good grades. It's just a behavior. And they came up with some idea that they were going to send me to Africa for 2 years to boarding school.
Oh,
So I
wow.
went to, so I went to a boarding school in Africa. And I was there from 14 to 16. When I came back at 16, my stepfather was very abusive. He used to beat up my mom all the time.
Yeah.
And when I came back, he was still doing the same thing. And actually ran out to get a gun from a friend's house. And I was going to end his life
Okay.
that day. So that was 16 years old. And my mom called the police and said my son's trying to kill my husband. And I almost shot my mom and my stepfather.
Wow.
But something said to me, my stepfather always said that, you'll be dead, you'll be in jail, you're useless, you'll never amount to anything. And something came to me and says, hey, if you do this right now, everything that your stepfather said about you is going to happen right here.
Yes.
And I hated my stepfather so much that I couldn't allow anything he ever said to become true. And I think
Powerful.
that was more important to me than taking both their lives. So I walked away from it. And then I lived in the streets for about a year, maybe half a year. I lived in the streets, and then that's how I found ping pong during that time. Somebody told me about a ping pong club, and I went down there and I saw black people playing, and I was like, "What? Black people play this?" Because I used to make fun of kids in my school playing all the time, and
Yeah.
and that and that's how I first started to get into it because I saw people that looked like me playing, which was
Wow.
crazy because I thought only Asians play ping pong.
Yeah, that was my thought when I was younger as well.
Yep, for real. And that's how I started. That was like the first idea of, oh, I want to do this because I played every sport. I played every sport in school. So when I saw this and I saw black people playing it, and I was like, oh wow, I want to do this too. And that's how I first got my first idea of wanting to play the sport.
Wow, that's amazing. I It makes me wonder, like, why would the judge send you to a boarding school in Africa? Is there a reason why they chose Africa?
No, my mom chose that.
Oh, they gave it your parents the choice. Oh,
My,
okay.
my no, my mom brought it up and they were like, and the lawyers, well, instead of doing this, let's do this. And so somehow they agreed to that nonsense. Yeah.
Was that a good
So
experience?
no, it was
No.
horrible. It I think the most racism I ever felt in my life, out of all the countries I've ever traveled to, and I've traveled to pretty much every major country in the world, that was the most racist, was there.
Wow.
Because you go there thinking, oh, I'm black. It's going to be all, sweet. But apparently I wasn't the real black.
Oh, one of those
Yeah,
things.
so apparently I was, so they used to make fun of me all the time, and they used to call me in their language the kid who eats butter.
Wow.
They try to say I was soft. So I spent a lot of time fighting there, fighting. I spent almost every day fighting. Like every day I was in it with someone. And then, their school system is very different. People who are your senior. So let's say for example, just to give an example, let's say if you're in the ninth grade, the person in the 10th grade and 11th grade can tell you what to do. They can
Oh,
come and
okay.
say, "Hey, come clean my classroom." I
Oh,
was
so
like, "What?"
a seniority
So
system.
yeah, yeah. So I got into a lot of stuff because of that. Yeah, and then I joined some crazy thing called Man of War, which is like this military kind of like Boy Scout thing, but times like 10,000. Like
Okay.
really, really just crazy. Just, you wear this beret and these boots. It's so crazy. Uh, and I joined this because like, I had to get respect some way or another.
Okay.
Um, and then that's when I became like a lot stronger. And then I thought, oh, I could protect my mom and all that craziness. Um, yeah. And then after 2 years, I came back and my mom wanted me to go back. And I said, if you send me back, I'll get off the next stop. First stop, the plane, make you never see me again. Yeah. So that's how I wound up staying here.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Well,
that's how the whole Africa thing happened.
that's amazing. Was there someone or something that had a big impact on you on how you see the world today?
Yeah, I mean, when I came back, that's when I started getting into ping pong, and I saw it, and I met this guy, Israeli guy, who came up to me one day, and he was like, "Hey, do you have a partner?" And I was like, "No," and he says, "Oh, I'll pay you if you can become my partner, because he's in and out of the country, and I learned sports quick, so basics I can. It doesn't matter what sport it is. I pick up basics in a day, like it doesn't matter, and I can hit forehand, I can hit backhand. I was good enough to just hit, right?
Yeah.
And this guy would pay me like $20 every time we played. So at this time I was living in the streets, so that's how I was getting money, and
Okay.
I would always show up, always show up. I spent a lot of time there, right? Because nowhere else to go. And, there's something that I started to like. And me and the guy, we became a little bit close. And I was telling him what was going on, about what happened. And for him, it was more like TV. Like it wasn't real, So like
Oh,
if you don't know people who live that life or come from that life, it's really hard to understand, that like this is a real thing.
yeah, that's
And
crazy.
one day I went to the club and 22 fell out of my bag and he saw it and he immediately looked at me and then I looked at him and I was like I'm out because I don't know what he's gonna do. He's gonna call police. I
Yeah.
don't know what's so I left and then the first thing I thought was like, oh, maybe there goes my $20. I'm not gonna make that $20 anymore. But the guy called me again. He says, "Hey, are we still playing?" And I was like, "All right." So we went on playing, and then he says, "I want to invite you to my home." And
Oh,
I
nice.
thought that was weird, right? I mean, you don't invite the kid who just dropped a gun in front of your face to your home, to your family. But whatever. I was like, okay, So he had a apartment in New York City, then he had a house near Hunter Mountain, which is like 2.5 hours away from New York City, and
Wow.
that's where his house was.
Okay.
And so, I went up there with him, and I met his family. His family lived there, and they were it was just weird because like it was like this, kind of like TV family where they all sit at the table and they pass the dinner, everyone eats together and they
Oh,
pass the
wow.
food around and yes, please, no, please, thank you. Can I it was actually pissing me off to be honest. It was making me really angry because I didn't have that. And I was wondering
Yeah.
why this like what is this guy doing? And then he says, "Hey, I want to help you." And I said, "How are you going to help me?" He goes, "Well, I have a connection in Germany. And I know you like ping pong a lot, and I'm going to pay for you to go learn ping pong." So that's how I
Wow.
started. So he paid for me to go to Germany, and I lived in a city called Hanover, and I lived in a sports school where all athletes of not just ping pong, like all sports, where the younger athletes, potential Olympians, potential pro players, they all live in this school, and a sport is the most of their curriculum, right? And I
Wow.
lived there, and that's how I started. That was like, sorry, and this guy, if it wasn't for him, I'd be dead or in jail. So
Wow.
yeah, so because of him, I'm here talking to you.
That's powerful right there.
Yeah,
That's and you almost walked away from the blessing because you thought he was gonna call the cops on you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing about it is, which is really interesting, and I didn't figure this stuff until like recently, we post pandemic, because I started doing a lot of interviews and I didn't, and then later I was thinking, I was like, he never ever mentioned about the gun that fell out of my bag. It was almost like it never happened.
Yeah.
Because if he did mention it, if he said anything to the effect of like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, I would have never talked to him again because I've
Oh,
always ghosted people like that. If they tell me something, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't be doing that, then I never talk to you again. So
mm.
I would never went there, I would never talk to him again. And that would have never happened. So the fact that he never brought it up, never mentioned it, like it didn't happen. Yeah, that's how everything else was able to happen.
And when's the last time you spoke to him?
Oh man, I lost contact with him like many years ago. When Israel was in the previous war, earlier, I lost contact with him, and then we spent a lot of time trying to find him because we made this documentary, um, and it would have been good to find him to say, hey, look, this is what he's doing. We did
Yeah.
find the school, we did find the coach, but we couldn't find him, and then people were like, yo, that's an angel that came into your life. They did their job, and you should stop looking for that. I'm like, what? I was like, all right. Yeah, yeah. So it is what it is.
He's gonna show up in divine time, and that's what I know,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Can you share a moment in life when it didn't go as planned, but you learned a valuable lesson from it?
Yeah. When I first started playing pro.
Or when you first started playing pro?
Oh yeah. Wait, so I was a super athlete. Every sport I played was MVP in it. I was always the best player. Did my basketball, football, volleyball, tennis, all of it. And when I started playing ping pong, I thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. When I started playing internationally, I was like, yeah, I got this, bro. I'm gonna be the best player in the world. And I was literally the worst pro in the world. I was getting scraped so bad. Like I would travel from like America to Asia, China, Japan, 16-hour flight, land today, maybe play tomorrow, and my tournament's over tomorrow. Over, because usually it's like a round robin group. So you got
Yeah.
3 or 4 in the group. And I'd be lucky if I got 5 points. As a matter of fact, I couldn't even get 5 points. It would be like 11-2, 11-1, like 4-0, 4 games to 0, like smoked,
Wow.
smoked. And then I had to like, then I had people saying, oh, why are you playing ping pong? You should play basketball or do hip hop music. It was crazy. And then I was like, and then I had to kind of like figure out, all right, how how can I change this? And it was a mindset change. The expectations that I had were too big. The goals that I was making were way too big. Like my thing was like, I want to beat everybody. And that was a crazy goal to make. I started this sport at 16 years old, right? There's people start the sport at 3 years old. And so then I started making like smaller goals. So instead of saying, you know what, look, I'm gonna beat everyone, first get 5 points, bro. Like you can't even
Small
get
goals.
5 points. How you can beat someone? So I started saying, okay, if I get 5 points in one game, I'm the world champion. And
Nice.
and in my mind, like I train my mind to believe it, right? Because that's the first thing. Like your mind has to actually believe the nonsense that's coming out of your mouth.
Yep.
So in my mind, I was like, if I make 5 points, I'm the world champion. And I would get one game, I would get 5 points, and I was like, yeah, right? And people would look at me like crazy. Like every player in the world, like they all know me. Everyone knows me for this because
Yeah.
I would go crazy, Then I would try to get 5 points every game, right? And then I would do that and I'd be jumping up and down. But meanwhile, I lost 4-0. I didn't win a game. And people were like, what's wrong with this dude? But what they didn't understand was that, I took this big goal, I broke it down into smaller goals. And then, the most important thing about the smaller goals is when you accomplish that smaller goal, no matter how small it is, you have to celebrate it, right? If
Mm.
you celebrate that smaller goal, then that gives you inspiration, motivation. You're like, yeah, I can do that. The goal is easy enough. Let me do it again, right? And I just kept doing that till I started saying, let's take one game, right? Let me get
Yeah.
one game out of four, right? Okay, let me get 2 games. Okay, let me get 3 games until I started winning some matches. But that was something where it didn't go as planned. But I changed my mindset in the way that I was thinking about the sport, and that just changed the outcome entirely.
Nice. Okay. So you start off with the small goals, you work your way up.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, you're the champion.
yeah,
Did
something
you
like
did you
that.
get that championship yet?
No,
Not yet. Not you gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
I couldn't beat the Chinese, man.
Yeah.
Can't beat the Chinese. I got no chance.
We'll get there. If you could talk to your younger self for 5 minutes, what would you tell him?
Everyone in the world is not out to get you.
Hmm. Why,
That's a
why, why would you
that's
say that?
because when I was younger, uh, I didn't trust nobody. Like every if someone's nice to you, then that's a red flag. If
Okay.
someone comes to you and says, "Hey man, how you doing?" That's a red flag. That's how we grow up in the projects, right? If people trying to be friendly with you, then there's something there's something going on. So
Yeah.
that's how I used to think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came from the projects too, so I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. What do you love most about what you do today, and what keeps you inspired to keep doing it?
What I love most is that it's inspiring and motivational to others. I get a lot of emails from people who are going through who know my story, going through the situations that I've went through. I get a lot of emails of people thanking me for sharing my story. I get a lot of people who are looking to commit suicide, and
Okay.
I get people, telling me stuff like, it doesn't mean they're not going to do it, but I've given them like 24 more hours to think about it.
Absolutely.
Like those kind of things, like those kind of emails and those kind of DMs and stuff like that, that inspires me,
Nice.
to want to keep doing what I'm doing, right? If I can help people, it's great. Stories save lives, right? So,
Absolutely.
I continue to tell my story over and over, because you never know who's listening, you never know who might need to hear it. And maybe they might say, you know what, maybe my life is not so bad. Let me see if I can figure out another way. So that's what inspires me. Working with kids inspire me, right? Trying to get them on the right path, not having to go through what I went through, or the ones who already been through what I went through, trying to show them that, you know what, there's still a way. There's still hope. So don't give up. Just keep pushing.
No, that's good. That's very inspiring, man. That's kind of the reason why I got into coaching basketball as well, because, I started from a troubled childhood, didn't get all the things I wanted, so I had to do other things like sell shirts and stuff at the Yankee Stadium because I grew up in the Bronx, and then, got into trouble in my teenage years. So I understand exactly what you're saying. If your career or life journey has a soundtrack, what song would be on it?
Rocky.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, that's that's my when I come out, when I'm doing like big talks and like in big ones,
Yeah.
that's my come out song.
That's on the Eye of a Tiger, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's my come out song right there. That gets me hype. I hear that. I'm like, I got this. Let's
If
go.
you don't get hyped to that, you must not be
Yeah,
human.
exactly. Exactly. Facts, facts,
That
facts,
song is
facts.
classic. Is there a daily routine or habit that helps you stay grounded or focused?
I don't have daily routines or habits. I like the chaos of things. So my mind is one big like storage that has all kinds of things in it.
Okay.
Sometimes I remember things last minute. I don't like structure.
Okay.
Right? I don't like at 10 a.m. I'm doing this. At 11 p.m. I'm doing this. At 12 p.m. No, I like, oh my God, shit. I got 10 minutes to get to that interview. Oh my God. Like that I like. That's when I'm at my best in those times when it's last minute, like, oh yeah, let's do it right now. All right, let's do it now. Let's get on it right. Like that's what I like. That's my energy. My energy is that last minute, don't plan it. Just happen. And if you miss it, don't worry about it. We'll figure a way to get it back again. But
Yes.
that's what I like the most. It's that no structure, chaotic craziness,
Okay.
I thrive on that stuff.
Okay. If you could relive one day at any point of your life just to feel it again, which day would it be and why?
Uh, I think in 2015, I did a solo trip to North Korea to do a diplomacy for world peace through sport. So in 1971, America established relations with China. It's through ping pong. It's called the
Okay.
ping pong diplomacy. That's where the movie Forrest Gump touches on that. So I
Okay.
wanted to recreate that history and make my own history. So I went to North Korea in 2015, and there was at the end of my match, I got to play this North Korean, and at the end of the match, he didn't want to shake my hand, right? Because in North Korea, Americans are the devil, we're evil, and all that craziness. But he has to shake my hand. So he put his hand out, but his body wasn't invested in the handshake. And
Okay.
so I wasn't going to let it go down like that. So in front of 5,000 North Korean fans, I grabbed him by the arm, pulled him in, and gave him the biggest bear hug he's ever had in his entire life. And and the people were like, "What the hell is going on?" It was pretty crazy, but it's pretty intense, pretty just crazy moment. And I
Yeah.
have my camera filming from my corner. And this is what I saw later. Um, he had the biggest smile on his face, which is crazy
Yeah.
because, for them, I'm the devil, I'm evil, right? And I'm sure him smiling is not a good look that an American hugged you and you're
Yeah.
smiling over that, right? So it just showed that, no matter where you come from or what beliefs you have, human is human. And you just have to know how to reach each person, right? And
Yep.
yeah, that was like one of the most craziest moments I think I've ever had in my life, hugging a North Korean in North Korea in front of North Koreans.
You were picked for that moment specifically.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy.
Okay. So I like to end the conversations with a question from the previous guest. So the last guest was Alex. His question was, when it comes to masculinity, do you think that it's right to say that you are masculine, or do you think that it's right for people to see you as masculine?
I don't know. I probably think that is right for people to see you as masculine. Probably. I mean, I grew up in that gang life, so it was always about masculine. Like you never you 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 never made yourself look soft. Even if you were soft. I knew guys who were soft as hell, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't know the difference because he's just walking around like, yeah, what's up? But I know these dudes. And I'm like, bro's not really about that life, but he had to play the part because if he didn't play the part, then it would be bad for him, right?
Yeah.
So I think people should see you as masculine because then they deal with you in a different way and in a different tone.
Okay, well said. What would your question be for the following guest?
Ooh, what was the most difficult thing that happened to you in your life that you tried to overcome but failed the first time? I like that. But
Okay,
but
no, that's
failed
a good
you
one.
failed the first time you tried to overcome it. And what happened?
Nice. I like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Wally.
Yeah, man, definitely, definitely.
I wish
Anytime,
you a
bro.
speedy recovery.
Yes, yes, I need it. I need it.
Yes.
Make sure to subscribe and like.